Hi everyone, this is Disha Dioxide and you are watching CEO Secrets, what made them successful and how we can make it. Today I am here with Bhaskar Kalale, who is the chairman of EqualizeRCM, a Mysore-based healthcare KPO company. We will talk about his journey and his experiences. What are the problems that your company is solving, sir?
Okay, Equalize RCM. RCM stands for Revenue Cycle Management. Okay. And Equalize RCM means that we are trying to equalize the revenue cycle of hospitals. Mm-hmm. Okay? And what exactly we do is to help hospitals, urgent care centers, individual doctors, etc. And we are very, very focused on the United States as a market. Okay, so we don't do any business in any other part of the world, including India. So we are hyper focused on our clients to be only in the United States. Mm-hmm. If I were to explain what exactly we do, is there are hospitals, and these are essentially called care providers. Okay. Right? So it could be hospitals, it could be clinics, it could be urgent care centers, it could be independent clinics of doctors, etc., or laboratories, for example, medical labs, diagnostic labs, etc. They are the care providers. All of them have ties up with insurance companies. Okay. When a patient walks into one of these care provider hospitals or care provider centers, they present their insurance card, and the insurance processes this claim and gives the money to the care provider. Okay. Now, in that entire process, there could be many missteps that could happen. You know, it could be as simple as, let's say, so primarily the missteps happen because the insurance is not giving all of the money that the hospital has billed to the insurance company. And the simplest reason may be the patient has not renewed their medical insurance. Right? So the insurance company says this individual is not eligible for this particular facility, either because they have not renewed, or if they have renewed, this particular ailment is not covered under their insurance policy, etc. Those are the simplest ones. But most of the time, what happens is it is a mismatch of some other way of codifying different aspects of the entire medical billing system. So what we and our teams here do is to resolve those conflicts between the hospitals or their care providers and the insurance, so that we can increase the revenue of these care providers that has to come from the insurance companies. Okay. So today, and that's a large business in the US, because almost everybody has an insurance, health insurance. And when they walk into a care provider center and they have to, when they present their insurance, this whole cycle kicks in. Right? And there are lots of other auxiliary services that our clients make use of. Things like there is every diagnosis, for example, has a code associated with it, and every treatment has a code associated with it. And a coding of the ailment, okay, or the diagnosis and the treatment, they all have to match together. Right? So if it doesn't match, then there is a problem. The insurance companies say, well, your diagnosis said that the patient had ailment in the right knee, and your treatment is for the left knee, for example. Right? So they might deny the claim. So we try to resolve all those things, and then we help our hospital clients or our care providers to increase their revenue. That's why it is called revenue cycle management.
Okay.
Right? So we have 1,000 people here in Mysore. We are a 17-year-old company working out of Mysore. And we recently, about a year ago, opened another office in Coimbatore, which is about 250 people.
Wow, that's
so wonderful. And we are growing, so that's a good news. So,
wonderful, sir. What are the real life services where your company's services are being used?
See, healthcare business is highly cost conscious. Okay, so it's very difficult for hospitals and the doctors and the clinics to survive if they're not getting paid. Right? And particularly in the United States, the healthcare is a very, very expensive proposition overall. And therefore, and because of all of the facilities that are provided and all of the research that goes into making a healthcare affordable or actually advanced, there's lots of money that gets poured into it, so they have to be able to recover that money. I think overall what we do is definitely helping the economy and definitely the individuals when they actually go into a healthcare facility and ask for some treatment or some service from them.
Okay, sir. What do you think, according to you, is the future trend of this industry, sir? Do you think things like COVID will impact yours, obviously, since it's healthcare? So, what do you think the future trend is now?
I think it will keep growing, because as just not in the United States. Well, actually, the people think that United States healthcare is universal, but it actually is not. It is not spread to many of the areas in the United States, and maybe in the future, an opportunity exists for us to go into other countries as well. Beyond the shores of the United States, particularly the Western countries, and even places like India, where there is a constant how do I say, the revenue management that needs to happen between the care providers and the insurance. I think as the care industry or healthcare industry gets bigger and better, and it has more people coming under its umbrella, I think the future is very, very bright.
The sky is the limit, sir.
Sky is the limit. Just imagine there are 6 billion people, and not everybody has the healthcare that they deserve, right? And if we were to we meaning as humanity, if we were to cover all the 6 billion people, you can imagine the scope that exists. So,
could you share a few exciting developments or initiatives that your company is currently working on?
So we are working on multiple initiatives, and one of the things obviously we touched upon is the growth. So we are expecting very strong and robust growth over the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
And we hope that we would be able to add that growth here in Mysore, but we are also looking at other locations, Coimbatore, as I mentioned, being one of the other ones. Our biggest challenge to do that is the availability of skill sets, right? So in Mysore, this is definitely very difficult. So therefore, we are partnering with the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, KDEM for short, to identify the people who can actually give us trained manpower. Right? So that is one initiative that we have. And internally within the company, there are a number of initiatives that we have that we are going through. One is streamlining the processes, the skills that we have, and deployment of tools and technology to make our operations a lot more efficient. Our service delivery to our clients will be very, very efficient. So obviously, when we build up the efficiency, our cost structure goes down. If our cost structure goes down, we are able to hire better people and more experienced people, and also pass on some of the savings from that initiative to our clients. So the clients can also become competitive in their own, environment. So what I call, I call it as PPT, people, process, and technology.
Wow.
So the congruence of those three is what we are working on right now.
That's actually very wonderful. That's very nice, actually. It's interesting and it's unique. A lot of people don't hear about this, so I'm glad I got to talk to you about that, sir. What general skills do you look for in a potential employee, sir?
So there are two types of skills, and that is we are actually in the process of redefining what skill sets we need. One generic skills we need is basic graduation. So that is something that we do not compromise on. Beyond that, now we are beginning to look at people. So when I say generic, basic graduation could be BA, BSc, BCom, those kind of things. But we are now expanding to see if people coming with, let's say, nursing background, nursing education qualification, physiotherapy, or even pharmacy background, they could potentially be a great value add to our company, because they come with certain medical background, right? So it becomes very easy for them to pick up the terminologies and be able to talk to the clients and be able to talk to the insurance companies and so on and so forth. So that is something that we had not done in the past, but we are looking at how do we get them interested in coming and making a career in the healthcare industry of our kind. We are essentially what we call KPO, knowledge processing outsourced provider. It's not a BPO. We don't have scripting and call center, etc. But there is a lots of knowledge or basic background that is required in of these healthcare terminologies and so on. And then, of course, there are other aspects of, we also have some of our products that we build and that we monetize through our clients. And we do look for some software engineers, but it's not a large requirement. Our large requirement is on the, the undergrad positions. So in addition to the basic educational qualification, there are certain attributes that we look for in the candidates who walk into the door. And I think this is something that is critical for every person who is looking for a job to be aware of. So some of those, so educational qualification is just the basic launch pad that is given to you to move forward in your life. But what you do with it is left to you. Right? So there are some other ingredients that are required, and just not our company. I think it is true for most other companies as well, probably all of the companies. One is to have the right attitude to succeed. Right? So we talked about curiosity. It's a sense of curiosity. In fact, I call it as intellectual sense of curiosity. It's just not curiosity, but just to go a little deeper and figure out why some things are working, and etc., etc. So the attitude is very, very important. Aptitude can be built over a period of time, and so can attitude. And the way I differentiate the two, Disha, is, let's say you take a competitive exam for the very first time, and let's say out of 1,000 points of score, first time you may get, let's say, 700. You take the same exam after 6 months, you'll probably get 800. You take next time, you'll get 850 and 900, and then we'll probably stop at about 900. Now, between the first time and the third time, does it mean that you have become more intelligent? You have not.
No.
Right? Your intelligence still has remained the same. Right? That means your aptitude has not changed, but your attitude has changed. Your attitude of learning more, your attitude of figuring out how do I answer questions, how do I answer questions quickly, your attitude of finding different ways to solve the problem has changed. And that change has happened because of repetitive studies and the exams, mock exams, etc. you might take. That's why you have improved. Right? So it is very important, therefore, that people look at the attitude, and we definitely do, look at the attitudes of the person in terms of their willingness to learn. Are they willing to put in that extra effort to learn? Right? So in the process, how do we determine that? There are many different ways to determine. Obviously, personal interview is one of them, but it becomes very subjective. So we deploy many different tools when a candidate walks in to determine a variety of skill sets. And one of them obviously is what we do, psychometric test, where we can find out the attitude of the person. And the other one that is very, very important is the communication skill. Right? Yeah. And to be able to tell a story, what I was telling you earlier, right? They have to be able to express. You don't have to give a long story for a short question, unlike what I do, but you have to be able to communicate effectively. That's very important, right? So I think attitude is very important, communication skill is very important, and as I said, educational qualification just gives you that initial launch pad. After that, it is left to you. And a good attitude and a good communication skill
will take you further.
Will take you much further down.
Wonderful, sir. We've reached the end of today's interview. Thank you, sir, for sharing your wisdom with me and interacting with me and reminding me to always keep learning.
Thank you very much, Disha, for having me on your show. I think it's a wonderful segment, and I really enjoy talking with you and answering your questions. I hope it helps the younger students to learn from my experience and implement them. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir. It was an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.